Good morning, welcome to Join the Dots. Yesterday, in passing, I mentioned XRP as part of my personal strategy to cope with what is coming. Now, I've given you an awful lot of background. I've given you the collapse in China. I've given you the fascist states that have formed in the West. Fascism, yes, no other opinion allowed. You can go to jail for saying something. It's fascism. It's nothing else. Fascism. So, with all that background, why did I pick on XRP to complement gold and silver, which seemed logical? If you think about it, gold and silver, incredibly logical. If the whole world is going to hell in a handbasket, then what is the thing that everyone on this planet, everyone identifies as having a value? Gold, silver. And I explained to you how silver is used now in the modern world more and more and more, etc., etc. And I told you that I'd invested in a gold company, a gold mining company, Agnico Eagle, and a silver mining company, Pan American Silver. Okay, so that was my story. But XRP came along last November. I had no interest in crypto before. I'm a banker. It didn't make any sense to me, sorry. It just didn't make any sense. And I didn't really give it any time, to be honest. I didn't give it any thought. It was one of those things that I was happy to just ignore. But someone came into my house in November of last year and mentioned that they had seen reports of XRP being valued at $100,000 a coin by the Bank of International Settlements. And I thought, well, that's interesting enough to look into at least. So, what did I do? I bought some, yes, because they were kicking around then at 41 pence, 50 cents if you're in the American market, 50 US cents, 41 UK pence. So I bought some, just because I like to see, you follow it more closely if you have some in your own possession. But I sent it out to my client base and said, guys, I've just bought XRP at this price. I'm told it has an incredible journey ahead of it. At which point, volumes of information came in from my clients about XRP. One client in particular, thank you, you know who you are. And it made me think, do you know what? There is something in this. And then I tried to join the dots, like I do. I tried to join the dots into what is there. So I thought, okay. So I'm being told that in the background, China is going around the world buying every piece of gold or silver it can, mainly in doré or unrefined form, in order that it doesn't get caught by the statistics and the Gold Council and the Silver Council and all these bodies. They don't see it because China buys it raw and refines it itself and keeps it itself. Now, we've all heard of BRICS currencies, we've all heard of the BRICS. So we all know now that there is a big feeling that the BRICS are going to launch their own currency. It was going to be Enbridge, there was going to be a system, but it all got kiboshed by whom? The Bank of International Settlements and the IMF. So these dots start to join. And it says to me, hold on, Russia and China have huge amounts of gold and silver, probably unregistered, probably unknown. China is the largest gold miner in the world, you know, and I believe it's the second largest silver miner. Did you know that? Not many people do. China mines 318, 320 tons a year of gold. Never sells a bean. Never sells 1 ounce. So where is it all? Yes, the consumers buy it for jewellery. Yes, it's very, very sought after in China. But where is all that gold? And where's the gold that they've been buying? And they've been buying officially from Switzerland. Okay? So we've now got China up to officially 2,200 tons. But I think they have a lot more. Now, if you listen to the voices, the good voices, not the clowns out there, if you listen to the serious voices, Alistair MacLeod, Andy Sheckman and others, you get a feeling, Maniko 64, you get a feeling that China has something like 20,000 tons of gold. So in my world, I'm joining the dots and I think, hold on, if China's got 20,000 tons of gold and America's only got 8,200, then a revaluation of gold is not going to solve America's problems. In fact, it's going to put China very much in the pole position, isn't it? So how can they value it? How can they revalue it? So now I'm thinking, okay, so if we go down the route of a precious metal-backed alternate currency to compete with the dollar, what can the dollar have behind it? Because it has nothing now. We're all in that position, I hope. I hope you're in that position. I've given you enough information to allow you to consider that the dollar is no longer perceived to be safe, particularly amongst countries, currencies where Trump is obviously at war, albeit tariffs or restrictions or sanctions. There's a war going on in the currency market. There's a war going on between these countries. How do they confirm the value of the dollar without anything standing behind it, which has worked since the Bretton Woods, but is not working now? 80 years on, it has run out of its life. The dollar is now disputed. The DXY index, we've seen it go from 110 to 97 today. The dollar is not wanted. The action of Biden in freezing the 300 billion of Russian assets in dollars, what a mistake. If ever there was an unintended consequence, goodness me, politicians who make quick decisions are fools. Fools to themselves, fools to their country, fools to the world. And that decision was a bad one. So now the dollar's under threat. People don't trust it. A lot of countries don't trust it. Okay, a lot of countries don't trust it. So they don't want to hold it. So they're selling it. China is selling some of its government bonds off. That could be because they need the money. It could be because they don't want to be caught like Russia and trapped in holding something that can be frozen. Just immediately cancelled almost. Even if they call it frozen, it's effectively cancelled. They can't use it. So it took me down the path of America would have to have an alternative product to back the dollar. So I started to look into the crypto space more and more seriously. And then I did a lot of research. Now, a lot of research was sent to me by my client who had already been holding XRP for years. And I did the work. So in my last few videos, I've said to you, you have to work at this. You can't expect to be given the answer, make a decision, and everything works. It doesn't work like that. There are charlatans out there. There are people out there selling anything to make money. Anything. Okay? So you don't listen to people like that. You have to do your own research. You have to dive into all the information. You have to listen to some cranks. You have to listen to some very serious people. You have to sift them out, and then you have to find the ones that seem to make sense. And I did. And I came to the conclusion that America, and probably the West, will in fact have to rely on cryptocurrencies to back their currency in the new world, particularly if we split into two, gold and silver backed, crypto backed. So I thought, okay, this isn't now a single standalone investment. This is actually a hedging strategy. It's a hedging strategy. Now I understand that as a banker. I want to be hedged. If I can be hedged cheaply, I will take it on board. So I started buying XRP. And as I said to you, I bought the first batch at 41 pence, 50 cents. And today we're trading, I think it's around £2.20, around $3. So as you can see, that's a 500% increase. Now, yes, it's volatile. I understand that. I understand that. It is volatile. But I also dug so deep into it that I found out, or I think I found out, that there is a massive future purpose for the Ripple ledger. And therefore, XRP has a massive future. Now, you don't have to believe that, and you don't have to... What you have to do is work. You have to go and work. You have to find the truth. I think I found it. For me, I have found it. For you, that's up to you. I think I found it. I've joined the dots from the truth, and I've ended up with a position of XRP because I want to hedge gold and silver. I'm in gold and silver. I'm extremely happy to be in gold and silver given where the world is going. I've hedged it. with some XRP. And I see that as a sensible strategy. We have to strategize, okay? We're up against forces that we just can't ever hope to understand or control. You've seen it. You've seen China imploding. You've seen Xi disappear off the world scene. You've seen Epstein files. We'll come back to those tomorrow. There's a very good Alex Jones interview. We'll talk about it tomorrow. Okay? But in this chaos, there is going to be, and I've said it so many times, there's going to be a need for a monetary reset. And therefore, it can take, in my world, it can take two forms. It can take a precious metal-backed form, or it can take a crypto-backed form. And I want to be hedged for either or both. So we'll come back to this topic again in the very near future, but I just wanted to make it crystal clear. This is not advice. I'm not telling you to buy it. I'm not pushing it. No one's giving me commission. I'm simply joining the dots from a truth that was a surprise to me. A real surprise. You know, someone casually mentioning that the Bank of International Settlements see a $100,000 price tag on XRP. And that is, ultimately, it is possible. I'm not saying it's probable, I'm not saying it's likely, I'm just saying, given the numbers, given the amount of assets on this planet, which may at some time have to be put on a ledger, it is possible. And that's why I chose to hedge my gold and silver holdings with a crypto holding being XRP. Thank you very much.